thepascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal.
Alternate juror is saying that jury was spot on with Diddy's conviction and about those freak off videos. So we're gonna be seeing what's up with that here in a second. Okay. So an alternate juror on Diddy's case has spoken out, and he says he agrees with the surprising verdict confirmed Wednesday that acquitted the musician of the most serious of charges the government was levied against him or leveraged against him. Okay. So the unnamed juror sat down. What's funny is it's the unnamed juror. It's right here. So we're going to take a look at that here in just a second. But what's funny is you can see his mother-loving face. You don't think somebody going to be like, oh, that my son. Yes, that's my son right there. You don't think somebody going to speak? His face is on TV, for crying out loud. But okay. The unnamed juror sat down with CNN Thursday, and he says his 350 pages of copious notes led him to agree with the jury that Diddy did not commit any STing or racketeering crimes. Remember, he was only convicted. Well, we already know what he's convicted of. This is why y'all are here. Okay. The juror's reasoning: during the riveting and eye-opening trial, the prosecution was not able to prove the RICO and the pro charges beyond a reasonable doubt. Even with the prosecution showing Diddy participating in, the hibbity-dibbity, the juror said the activity didn't seem forced and was even pretty tame, mostly showing baby oil being rubbed on those involved in the S act. Wow. So he was just doing hours and hours of people just applying baby oil on their bodies. He further explained the text presented by the defense showed there were levels of consent with Diddy's actual partners. He also touch might not be the best word, but he also touched on the very bad 2016 video of Cassie being attacked by Diddy multiple times. And he confirmed that it didn't make a difference when considering the charges brought against against Diddy because he was not being charged with DV. As you know, Diddy and his family were thrilled that he got off the hook for the 3 most serious of charges. We even caught his own mama flashing a thumbs up outside the courthouse, which we already know. She's very excited about this, okay? Not everybody was happy. Dawn Richard, who has a pending lawsuit against her former mentor, called his 2-count conviction a quote-unquote disappointment in a statement via her attorney. Diddy remains behind bars, while he awaits his sentencing. Now, we have got to see what this guy, okay, this alleged no named, but his face is all over the TV right now, okay, on one of the biggest, highest profile cases in this quinquennial. He has some things to say, and he says that the jury, that he didn't get, remember, he was the understudy, okay? He didn't even have a role in this decision, but he agrees that the decision was correct.
That you did not deliberate, but did you agree with the final verdict?
I understood the final verdict, and I think because I took a copious amount of notes overall. I took 350 pages worth of notes. Because at the end, we weren't told who was an alternate, who was the main juror until literally the last second when they were reading when the judge was reading his entire statement at the end. It was like, the first 12 are the jurors, the last 5 are the alternates. Oh. So we didn't know, even in the jury room, no one treated everyone, we all were equal because we didn't know who was who.
Would you have acquitted him on RICO?
I think reading all my notes and looking back at the evidence, I probably would have reached the same conclusion as the other jurors.
You saw some very...
That's crazy. Interesting, right? That's crazy and interesting, right? He's like, oh yeah, I was hoping to be a part of it, but it didn't happen. I just ended up being an alternate. So I'm sitting there chilling. I got copious amounts of notes. And I agree. It wasn't RICO. Not at all. He was very quick to get onto these interviews, though. Very quick to get on these interviews. I told you at least somebody was going to jump out quick right? Yeah, I'm saying just me. Is he possibly writing a book? Is he possibly going to write a book? Let's be real. He's out here, but he's not using his name. He's not using his name, but his face is out here. Let's not forget that. People are going to figure him out. I mean, come on now. He's on TV, for crying out loud. It's not like he's behind a shadow and they're doing that weird, decoder thing on his voice, like adding a filter on his voice. You see his face. You don't think somebody's going to be like, "Oh, I know that dude. That be Sam. What up, Sam? Damn, I didn't know you were that's where you been? You been locked up, holed up, doing this whole thing? Damn. You watch the freak offs? Were they any good? You see any titties?"
Very graphic images, videos. You heard very sexual and graphic
Yes.
details. What was that like hearing that? And how did it impact how you viewed the case?
No, they were very graphic, and but I think overall, it was we were looking at it from like one side, and it was definitely riveting and eye opening.
What did you see on the videos? The press wasn't able to see it in real time.
Yeah.
Damn
No,
right.
I mean, they were showing some of there was both the freak offs and hotel nights, as they were called, from both of them. But it was
Were they showing those videos?
they showed, well, again, the defense and the prosecution showed different clips, so they were very selective. Like the prosecution was showing more, just Cassie just sitting around.
The defense showed that.
The defense showed that, yeah.
Just her sitting around not engaging in sexual activity.
Yes.
Interesting. They're like, "Oh, she's just chilling." You know what I mean? She's just chilling, right? But he said that they're riveting. So why are they riveting? Right? Is it because of, the action that's going on? He's like, "Oh my God, he just did the Alabama Slammer." Riveting, right? Like, clearly, if it's riveting, there's some action going on. Okay? There's some real action going on. You said riveting, bruh. You said riveting.
The prosecution, when you had to have your headphones on and otherwise,
Yeah.
what were you seeing then?
There was sexual activity, but I mean, it wasn't really
Riveting?
um
Was it force?
No, it didn't seem forced. It was actually like pretty tame.
Really?
Yeah.
Did she?
It was just a lot of rubbing oil and stuff on there. It wasn't anything too graphic.
Huh? He's like, and he's playing the greatest hits in his mind. He's like, well, he said riveting though. Okay? He said riveting. If it wasn't riveting, then it's not tame. Or if it was riveting, I'm sorry, then it wasn't tame. If it wasn't riveting, then it's tame. Right? Like maybe he's nervous about being on TV. Maybe he was being nervous about being on TV. He's like, "Holy crap, I'm on TV. I totally lost my place." Or he's thinking about them titties. Okay? That's it. He just saw some things and he's like, "I saw some things. Most beautiful women I have ever seen and the biggest hogs I have ever seen in my whole entire life. This knocks out P-Hub like to a whole other level." He said riveting, though.
Ask you one more question.
Sure.
And it's about the video from the Intercontinental Hotel that you saw a lot.
Yeah, it was.
Was it a? Did you
they
see
did it? Sometimes they did it like frame by frame by frame.
What did you think of that? Did you see it enough? Too much? Too little? What?
It was. I mean, it was a very bad video. And I think they showed it. I think they showed it enough. I mean, they tried to show it both sides, and
did it make a difference to you in the actual charges that you would have had to deliberate over? Because he wasn't charged with
He wasn't
violence
charged
alone.
with domestic violence. No.
Did that surprise you?
No, because I don't think domestic violence is a federal crime. So
Did it cloud the way you saw the rest of the charges by seeing that video?
no, I think we looked at just what we were supposed to be, what the judge had said we were supposed to look at, and then based off of the evidence that was presented to us.
Okay. He it's interesting. Like he either is shy. I see what you're saying with that, just me. Like maybe he's just super shy, or he just doesn't know how to articulate what he saw. Right? I mean, that at least is the vibe that I'm getting here. Maybe he just can't articulate. He's like, I'm having a hard time trying to explain to you about the what I saw, the booties, butts, backs, and balls that I saw, right? Like maybe he's just like, I just don't know how to explain it. It was just a lot of skin. And you know, if I had the choice, I'd watch it again. But it was a one-time thing, right? Because he said it was riveting. Riveting says a lot. Okay? Riveting says a lot.
Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild.